Let me start by asking you a simple question. Have you ever considered that the pain, discomfort, or recurring urinary issues you might be experiencing could be coming from your plate? Not from your lifestyle, not from your genetics, but directly from the foods you put on your plate every single day at lunch. I know that might sound hard to believe at first, but let me walk you through something surprising. For years, countless men have been living with chronic pelvic discomfort, frequent urges to urinate, interrupted sleep due to bathroom visits, and even reduced vitality. Many chalk it up to aging or stress. But what if I told you there's a different trigger? One that most people never think to question? There are 7 common foods, yes, just 7, that have been quietly working against your prostate health. They're not exotic. They're not labeled as harmful. In fact, many are marketed as part of a healthy, everyday meal. But scientific evidence suggests otherwise. These foods can inflame, irritate, and over time, aggravate a very sensitive organ in the male body, the prostate. And here's the kicker. These foods are especially prevalent in the average American lunch. Sandwiches, processed meats, creamy dressings, sugary beverages, all staples in many diets. And yet they may be quietly fueling a fire within. Now, before we go deeper, I want to be very clear. I'm not here to shame anyone's diet. Life is busy and it's easy to grab what's convenient. But once you understand the connection between these seemingly harmless foods and chronic inflammation of the prostate, it becomes almost impossible to ignore. Let's take a moment to recognize the consequences of letting this go unchecked. Prostatitis, especially chronic forms, isn't just uncomfortable. It can impact your daily functioning, your mental clarity, your intimate relationships, and even your confidence. But perhaps the most frustrating part? Many people go years without a clear diagnosis, cycling through medications and temporary fixes, when part of the solution could be hiding in plain sight, right on the lunch plate. This is exactly why this conversation is so important. Because when it comes to health, especially prostate health, details matter. One ingredient too much, one method of preparation overlooked, and you might be tipping the balance from healing to harm. That's why I urge you to stick with me through each chapter of this video. We'll walk through every food to avoid, explain why it matters, and most importantly, how to swap it for something that supports your well-being instead of draining it. And yes, there's more. At the end of this video, I'll share a powerful bonus tip, an all-natural ingredient that's simple, affordable, and scientifically backed to support prostate health when used correctly. It's not something you'll hear about often, but it could make all the difference when paired with the right dietary choices. So hang on for that, because trust me, it's worth it. Now here's something to keep in mind. Not all inflammation feels like a burning fire. Sometimes it's silent. You might not feel a thing until the symptoms appear. The body is great at compensating until it's not. That's why prevention and awareness are key. This video isn't about fear, it's about empowerment. You deserve to feel good, to live fully, and to take back control over your health with knowledge that's practical, grounded in science, and completely within your reach. So let's start this journey together. In the next chapter, we'll reveal one of the most misunderstood foods out there. It's often praised for its antioxidants and color, but when prepared a certain way, it might be doing you more harm than good. Stay tuned because this one surprises almost everyone. Let's start with a food that's been sitting in plain sight, often praised for its vibrant color and health benefits: the tomato. Rich in lycopene and packed with antioxidants, tomatoes have been linked in numerous studies to reduced cancer risk, improved skin health, and yes, some even claim they support prostate health. But here's where things get more complicated. It's not the tomato itself that's the problem, it's what we do to it. In many American households, tomatoes show up most often in the form of sauces. Think marinara, pizza toppings, ketchup, or that homemade chili. And while the idea of a tomato-rich dish might sound heart-healthy, the reality is that when tomatoes are cooked at high temperatures, especially with certain oils and preservatives, they can turn from friend to foe. Here's how it works. Lycopene, the antioxidant found in tomatoes, is more bioavailable when tomatoes are cooked. That's true. But the cooking process, particularly when done with processed vegetable oils like soybean or canola oil, can trigger oxidative reactions. These reactions create advanced glycation end products, AGEs, and lipid peroxides, which are known contributors to systemic inflammation. Add to that the hidden sugars and salt often packed into commercial sauces, and suddenly, your healthy lunch might be delivering a heavy inflammatory punch, directly affecting sensitive areas like the prostate. Let's take store-bought marinara sauce as an example. Flip the label, and you'll often find high fructose corn syrup or added cane sugar, hydrogenated oils, sodium levels exceeding 500 millimicrons per serving, preservatives like citric acid or calcium chloride. When combined, these elements contribute to a spike in insulin, a drop in antioxidant protection, and an increase in inflammatory markers. And over time, this pattern, day after day, creates the perfect storm for chronic inflammation in the lower pelvic region. Even seemingly innocent meals like spaghetti and meatballs can become problematic when the sauce is heavily processed and reheated multiple times, degrading nutrients while ramping up pro-inflammatory compounds. So what's the solution? Do we eliminate tomatoes entirely? Not at all. Tomatoes, when consumed raw or lightly cooked with the right fats, like extra virgin olive oil, can be beneficial. The key lies in preparation and quality. Choose organic tomatoes when possible. Skip the canned varieties that contain BPA linings, and most importantly, make your own sauces when you can. That gives you control over what goes in. Here's a practical tip. If you love tomato-based dishes, consider roasting tomatoes at low temperatures with a drizzle of olive oil, garlic, and fresh herbs. Avoid long boiling times and steer clear of pre-made, jarred sauces unless you can verify the ingredients are clean. Now you might be asking, but why would this matter so much for prostate health? Because the prostate is extremely responsive to changes in inflammatory signals. In fact, many men experience a flare in symptoms, pain, pressure, and urinary changes after eating meals rich in preservatives, sugars, and low-quality fats. Tomatoes cooked in harmful oils and blended with additives are one of the top hidden triggers. That's not to say a single pasta dinner will ruin your health, but consistent exposure, day after day, is where the danger builds. Remember, chronic prostatitis isn't caused by one big mistake. It's the accumulation of small, daily choices that either help or hurt. And here's a little-known fact. People with higher lycopene levels in their blood from whole foods, not processed sauces, tend to show fewer markers of oxidative stress. That tells us it's not the tomato that's at fault. It's the company it keeps and the way it's prepared. As we peel back the layers on each of these 7 foods, you'll start to see a pattern, one where inflammation isn't just about what you eat, but how it's cooked, combined, and consumed. In the next chapter, we'll turn our attention to one of America's favorite lunch proteins. It's fast, affordable, and heavily processed, but it carries compounds that could be sabotaging your health from the inside out. If you've ever enjoyed a sandwich or charcuterie board, you'll want to hear this. Stay with me, because the next discovery could change the way you look at your plate forever. Now let's talk about something that sits at the heart of most American lunches: deli meats. Sliced turkey, ham, salami, bologna. These convenient, protein-rich options often make their way into sandwiches, wraps, and lunch plates across the country. They're quick, they taste good, and they seem like a harmless way to get your protein fix. But here's what most people don't realize. These processed meats can be a hidden threat to your prostate health. The issue lies not in the meat itself, but in how it's been preserved, flavored, and packaged. These seemingly simple slices often contain a cocktail of chemical additives designed to enhance taste, appearance, and shelf life. Among them, nitrates and nitrites. Nitrates are used to keep meats looking pink and fresh. But once inside your body, especially in the acidic environment of your stomach, these compounds can convert into nitrosamines, substances that have been linked to increased inflammation and cellular stress. And guess where chronic inflammation hits particularly hard in men? That's right, the prostate. But it doesn't stop there. Many of these meats are also incredibly high in sodium. Some slices contain over 300 milligrams each. Add a few slices to your sandwich and you're well on your way to exceeding daily sodium limits. Excess sodium doesn't just raise blood pressure. It can impair circulation, increase fluid retention, and worsen inflammation throughout the body, including in the delicate tissues surrounding the prostate. Then there are the artificial flavors, smoke enhancers, phosphates, and preservatives, all of which can disrupt gut health, hormonal balance, and immune function. When the body is constantly exposed to these substances, it responds by staying in a low-grade inflammatory state. Over time, this can contribute to prostate discomfort, swelling, and the kind of chronic symptoms many men struggle with. Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine a typical lunch, a turkey and cheese sandwich with mustard and pickles. Sounds innocent, right? But between the nitrate-rich turkey slices, the processed cheese, which we'll get to soon, and the high-sodium condiments, you've just created a perfect storm of inflammatory triggers. Eat that 5 times a week, and the impact on your prostate could be far more significant than you realize. So what can you do about it? The good news is you don't need to give up on sandwiches altogether. There are smarter, healthier choices that support your body instead of stressing it out. Here's how to make the switch. Choose nitrate-free meats. Look for deli options labeled as no nitrates or nitrites added. These are often found in the organic or natural section of the grocery store. Still processed, but a step in the right direction. Opt for freshly cooked proteins. Roasting your own turkey or chicken breast and slicing it thin is a fantastic alternative. You get all the protein, none of the chemical additives. Watch the sodium. Choose low-sodium options when possible, and balance your meal with potassium-rich vegetables to help your body maintain a healthy fluid balance. Balance your sandwich. Add arugula, spinach, avocado, or fresh tomato, prepared properly, for added anti-inflammatory benefits. Your lunch should nourish your body, not quietly chip away at your well-being. Once you start paying attention to what's really in your food, you'll begin to notice subtle changes. More energy, less discomfort, and a sense of taking back control. Here's something else worth considering: the connection between diet and hormone regulation. Processed meats have also been linked to endocrine disruption. Hormones play a major role in prostate function, and dietary choices that promote balance, like whole foods, healthy fats, and minimal additives, can go a long way in supporting long-term health. You might not feel the effects of today's sandwich immediately, but over weeks, months, and years, your body keeps score. And for many men, that score shows up in the form of prostate sensitivity, urinary urgency, or a constant feeling of pressure. Now, I'm not here to tell you to live off kale and quinoa. I'm here to help you make smarter choices that support the body you live in and the life you want to enjoy. And making just one change to your lunch routine could be the beginning of a much bigger transformation. In the next chapter, we'll talk about a surprising source of inflammation that many people mistakenly believe is good for them, especially those trying to eat clean. It's creamy, comforting, and often found in breakfast and lunch menus alike, but it may not be doing your prostate any favors. Ready for another surprise? Stick with me. Let's take a moment to talk about something that's been part of most people's diets since childhood. Milk. A tall glass of cold milk, creamy cheese on a sandwich, yogurt with fruit. These are foods many of us associate with comfort, nutrition, and bone strength. The dairy industry has done an excellent job marketing these products as essential to good health. But when it comes to your prostate, the reality might be different. Here's the twist. While dairy products are rich in calcium and protein, research has increasingly suggested a potential link between regular consumption of full-fat dairy and an increased risk of prostate inflammation. The culprit isn't just the fat, it's the combination of saturated fats, hormones, and certain proteins found in cow's milk that may contribute to chronic inflammation in sensitive individuals. Let's break that down a bit. First, the fat content. Whole milk, cream, and most hard cheeses are high in saturated fats. While not all saturated fats are harmful, excessive consumption, especially when paired with low-fiber intake, can disrupt hormone balance, promote weight gain, and impair metabolic health. All of these are known contributors to systemic inflammation, which in turn may exacerbate prostate symptoms. Next, the hormone factor. Dairy cows are often treated with growth hormones and antibiotics, and even in hormone-free labeled products, cow's milk naturally contains estrogen and other hormones. These can interact with your body's endocrine system, subtly influencing levels of testosterone, estrogen, and other key players in male health. Now let's talk about casein. This is a type of protein found in milk that some people digest poorly. Casein can trigger an inflammatory response in the gut, particularly in individuals with sensitivities or compromised digestion. Over time, this can contribute to what's known as leaky gut, a condition where the intestinal lining becomes more permeable, allowing unwanted substances into the bloodstream, including pro-inflammatory compounds. So how does all of this affect the prostate? The prostate is an organ highly responsive to inflammation and hormonal signals. Anything that promotes systemic inflammation or disrupts hormone balance has the potential to aggravate existing prostate conditions, or create a perfect environment for them to take root. This isn't to say that all dairy is dangerous. For some people, small amounts of high-quality dairy, especially fermented varieties like kefir or plain yogurt, may be tolerable and even beneficial due to their probiotic content. But when dairy becomes a regular daily presence in the form of whole milk lattes, cheesy meals, and sugary yogurts, the risks can outweigh the rewards. Let's consider the typical American lunch again: a sandwich with cheese, a creamy dressing, and maybe a yogurt cup on the side. That's a triple hit of dairy, likely full of saturated fat, hidden sugars, and artificial thickeners. Repeating this pattern daily could be quietly feeding chronic inflammation in your system. Here's what you can do instead. Switch to plant-based milk alternatives like unsweetened almond, oat, or hemp milk. Just be sure to check for added sugars and unnecessary fillers. Try fermented dairy in moderation if tolerated. Products like plain kefir or probiotic-rich yogurts, without added sugars, may provide gut support without the same inflammatory risk. Skip the processed cheeses. Choose aged organic varieties in small amounts. Or experiment with non-dairy cheeses made from cashews or almonds. Pay attention to portion size. Even if you keep dairy in your diet, reducing how much and how often you consume it can have a significant impact. Many men report a noticeable difference in urinary comfort, bloating, and even energy levels after reducing or eliminating dairy for just a few weeks. It's not about deprivation. It's about giving your body a break and observing how it responds. And here's something inspiring. Thousands of men have reclaimed their health simply by becoming more aware of how food interacts with their unique biology. What works for one person might not work for another, but making informed, intentional choices is a form of self-respect that pays long-term dividends. So, if you've been dealing with nagging prostate discomfort, or just want to age with more strength and less inflammation, reconsidering your relationship with dairy might be a powerful first step. Coming up in the next chapter, we'll explore 3 sneaky ingredients that often hide in plain sight. Foods you probably wouldn't expect to be problematic, but that may be sabotaging your efforts at wellness. The next part may just connect the dots between your daily cravings and chronic symptoms. Stick with me. You won't want to miss this. As we continue to uncover hidden triggers of prostate inflammation, it's time to shine a light on 3 everyday foods that many consider harmless, or even healthy. These aren't the flashy villains you might expect. They're often part of the average lunch, especially in North America, where convenience and taste often take priority over nutritional impact. But the truth is, these 3 items can quietly contribute to a cascade of inflammatory responses, especially when consumed together. Let's break them down, one by one. 1. Refined white bread. Soft, fluffy, and the base of countless sandwiches, white bread is a staple in many diets. But nutritionally speaking, it's closer to sugar than to grain. Made from highly processed flour, stripped of its fiber, vitamins, and minerals, white bread offers very little in terms of nourishment. Here's what happens when you eat it. The refined carbohydrates cause a rapid spike in blood glucose, which triggers a surge of insulin. High insulin levels over time promote systemic inflammation and are linked to a range of metabolic issues, including those that affect the prostate. Worse still, many store-bought white breads contain added sugars, preservatives, and emulsifiers designed to extend shelf life and improve texture. Some even include high-fructose corn syrup, a known contributor to insulin resistance and inflammation. If your sandwich starts with white bread, you're already building a meal on a pro-inflammatory foundation. 2. Diet sodas and artificial sweeteners. Next up is a beverage many people turn to in an effort to reduce calories. Diet soda. It sounds like a smart swap. No sugar, 0 calories. But artificial sweeteners like aspartame, sucralose, and acesulfame potassium can have unintended effects on your body. Recent research suggests that artificial sweeteners may disrupt gut microbiota, alter insulin sensitivity, and even stimulate cravings for sweet and salty foods. For men concerned about inflammation, this is a problem. The gut is a major regulator of immune response, and imbalances in gut flora are increasingly being linked to chronic inflammatory conditions, including prostatitis. Beyond the sweeteners themselves, diet sodas are acidic and often contain caffeine and chemical additives that place additional stress on your liver and kidneys, 2 organs vital for filtering inflammatory toxins from the body. It's worth noting that many men report increased urinary frequency and bladder irritation after consuming diet sodas, symptoms that can mimic or exacerbate existing prostate discomfort. 3. Bottled sauces and condiments. Ketchup, barbecue sauce, honey mustard. These might seem like small additions to a meal, but they pack a powerful punch. Most commercial sauces are loaded with added sugars, preservatives, and inflammatory oils. Take ketchup, for instance. Just 1 tablespoon can contain up to 4 grams of sugar. Multiply that across a sandwich or a dipping side, and you've consumed a dessert's worth of sweetness without even noticing. Many of these sauces also contain artificial colorings and flavor enhancers, including monosodium glutamate, MSG, which has been shown to overstimulate nerve cells and contribute to systemic inflammation. When you pair these sauces with processed meats on white bread and wash it down with a diet soda, you've unknowingly created a triple threat meal that primes your body for inflammation. The inflammation chain reaction. These 3 components, refined bread, artificial sweeteners, and sugary sauces, don't just add up. They amplify each other's effects. The high glycemic load spikes blood sugar, the sweeteners confuse your metabolism, and the additives in condiments challenge your immune system. Together, they create a metabolic environment that is highly inflammatory, particularly for the lower pelvic region. And for men prone to or suffering from prostatitis, this is a serious concern. What you can do, instead. The good news is that there are plenty of delicious anti-inflammatory alternatives. Swap white bread for 100% whole grain, sprouted grain, or sourdough bread, all of which provide fiber and nutrients that support digestive health and blood sugar balance. Replace diet sodas with herbal teas, infused water, or sparkling water with a splash of lemon or cucumber. These options hydrate without irritating your gut or bladder. Make your own sauces at home using ingredients like Greek yogurt, mustard, olive oil, garlic, and fresh herbs. Not only will you control the sugar content, but you'll also benefit from real, whole food nutrition. These small shifts can yield big results. Many men notice improved digestion, fewer urinary issues, and even better energy levels just by eliminating these 3 common culprits. Listen to your body. Often, we eat out of habit, not awareness, but your body is always giving you feedback through how you feel after meals, how well you sleep, how often you need the restroom, or how much discomfort you carry. Paying attention to these signals can be the beginning of a powerful shift toward healing. This isn't about perfection. It's about progression. Each step you take away from processed, inflammatory foods and toward real, nourishing options is a vote for your well-being. Coming up in the final chapter, we'll tie everything together. I'll reveal the complete list of the 7 foods to avoid, how to prepare your meals in a prostate-friendly way, and share the bonus tip I promised you back at the beginning. If you've made it this far, don't stop now. The final piece could be the key to transforming your lunch into a tool for healing. Let's finish strong. You've made it this far, and now it's time to pull everything together. We've walked through the surprising ways that common foods, often marketed as convenient or healthy, can actually aggravate inflammation in the body, particularly in the prostate. Now, I'm going to give you the full list of the 7 foods to avoid and show you how to turn this knowledge into powerful, life-improving action. But before I do, let me remind you, this isn't about fear, it's about taking ownership of your health. And when it comes to something as important as your prostate, every small choice counts. The 7 foods to watch out for. Tomatoes cooked in inflammatory oils. Avoid store-bought sauces with added sugars, preservatives, and low-quality oils. Why? High-heat cooking in bad oils converts tomatoes into inflammation-promoting compounds. Processed meats. Cold cuts, bacon, sausages. Avoid nitrates, excess sodium, artificial flavors. Why? These compounds are linked to systemic inflammation and hormonal disruption. Whole-fat dairy, milk, cheese, creamy sauces. Avoid daily intake of high-fat, non-fermented dairy. Why? Saturated fat, hormones, and casein may irritate gut and hormonal balance. White bread and refined carbs. Avoid sandwich bread, white rolls, and pastries. Why? They spike insulin, disrupt gut health, and increase inflammatory markers. Diet sodas and artificial sweeteners. Avoid aspartame, sucralose, acesulfame potassium. Why? These disrupt gut bacteria and may worsen metabolic responses. Sugary bottled sauces and condiments. Avoid ketchup, barbecue sauce, commercial salad dressings. Why? Packed with sugar, preservatives, and chemicals that irritate the body. High-sodium processed frozen meals. Avoid prepackaged lunches, frozen entrees. Why? These often contain a mix of all the above: sugar, sodium, oils, and preservatives. This list isn't about deprivation, it's about awareness. By eliminating or reducing these items, you're making space for foods that heal, nourish, and support your body's natural defenses. Prostate-friendly swaps and preparation tips. Use anti-inflammatory oils like extra virgin olive oil and avocado oil, especially after cooking. Embrace lean proteins from grilled chicken, wild-caught fish, or plant-based sources like lentils and beans. Go for whole grains like quinoa, brown rice, oats, and sprouted bread. Load up on cruciferous vegetables, broccoli, cauliflower, kale, lightly steamed or raw. Incorporate healthy fats like nuts, seeds, and avocados. Limit dairy or choose fermented organic varieties like plain kefir or unsweetened yogurt in moderation. Make your own sauces using herbs, garlic, lemon, and yogurt or olive oil bases. Bonus tip: the power of pumpkin seeds with turmeric. Now, as promised, here's your bonus tip: a simple, natural blend that can amplify all the benefits of your new food choices. Lightly toasted pumpkin seeds combined with turmeric and a pinch of black pepper can be a game changer. Pumpkin seeds are rich in zinc, a key mineral for prostate health. Turmeric offers curcumin, a potent anti-inflammatory compound. Black pepper enhances the absorption of curcumin by up to 2,000%. Snack on a tablespoon of this combo daily or sprinkle it over salads and soups. It's a simple ritual with real measurable benefits. The takeaway: small shifts, big wins. Your prostate doesn't need perfection, it needs consistency. The choices you make at lunchtime, those subtle shifts away from processed inflammatory foods, can set the tone for how you feel all day and all through the years ahead. You don't have to overhaul your life overnight. Start with one change. Swap out the bread. Choose water over soda. Read labels. Cook with care. These are small acts of self-respect, and over time, they add up to strength, energy, and longevity. Closing thoughts. Knowledge is power, but only if you apply it. If you found value in this video, consider who else might benefit from this message. Share it, like it, subscribe to the channel for more practical, empowering health content that helps you take control of your well-being, naturally. Your body is talking to you. When you listen and respond with care, it will thank you in ways you didn't know were possible. Here's to your health, your strength, and your future. Let's keep learning together.